Good morning, everybody. Today is day 59 of Bike4Alz. It's July 22nd, and as you can see behind me, it's a little bit rainy, but we're very blessed to be at the end of our journey, and we know that the fight isn't over with the end of our ride, and we're going to continue to try to raise awareness and combat this disease. Today we're going to do dedication a little bit differently. We don't just have one. Each of us are going to share a dedication, and so all of us are going to get to speak. The first one is going to go to Kim Fondal. She's a Kentucky resident, and she works with the Alzheimer's Association, Greater Kentucky Southern Indiana chapter, and her family's affected by Alzheimer's, and so today we're riding for the Fondal family.
In my dedication, we go to Kristen Miller. She's a WKU grad. I'm riding for her family today. I always like to see the support from WKU.
Today we're also riding for Kathy Flincham's parents, Ruth and Bob Gordon. Today we're riding for you.
Today we're also riding for my great aunt, Audrey Lanter Powell. She was 87 years old and died peacefully in her sleep in her own bed at home. This was on May 23rd, 2012, so 2 months ago tomorrow actually. Her daughter Jessie wrote, "Mom was one of the sweetest people there ever was, and she continued her positive attitude and gentle disposition up until her death." So we're riding for you today.
The next person we're riding for today is Julie Tyler's father. My father was diagnosed 7 years ago, but showing signs as early as 10 years ago. It is beyond devastating to see someone that you adore melt away before your very eyes with no hope of ever getting them back. He was such a man of integrity, a very hard-working, self-made man, a man loved and respected by all who came into contact with him. He is now a shadow of that. He is still at home under the fabulous care of my sweet, amazing mama, my brother, and me. So today we're riding for Julie Tyler and her family.
We're also riding for Ashley Tilford's grandfather, and she is a graduate from WKU, and this is what she has to say about him. "Having watched my grandpa suffer and eventually die from the disease, I'm incredibly passionate about raising awareness. I raise money each year and participate in the walk to end Alzheimer's. This year will be the first year I will be walking in memory of my grandpa rather than in honor of him. He was a World War II Medal of Honor and Purple Heart veteran. He was an incredible human being, but even he couldn't fight his way out of this horrible disease. It brings me such joy to know that by the time myself or any of my other family members may develop this disease, there will very likely be a cure." So she would just like to thank us and others who are joining in the fight for Alzheimer's. So today we're riding for her grandfather.
Today we're also riding for my cousin Beth Whitmer and her husband Merlin Whitmer. They were nice enough to give us dinner in Sarasota one night when we were there, but Beth's father had Alzheimer's disease for a few years and before he passed away. So Beth, we're riding for you and our family today.
Today we're also riding for my great aunt and my grandfather's sister, Louise Ming. She was diagnosed with Alzheimer's and passed away in September 2009. So to my family, we're riding for you, Louise Mings.
Today we're riding for Frank and Betty Weaver. We met them today at St. Columba Episcopal Church, and we had the pleasure of going to church today and meeting them, and they were extremely gracious and nice, and Frank is suffering from Alzheimer's, so we are riding for you today.
And our last dedication today goes to Carlos Barrios, and it is his father, and excuse me, it's his grandfather. And Carlos was just a huge help getting our PR game rolling. He's based out of Washington State, and he helps us a lot with just getting the word out. He wrote an awesome article in the blog about us, and so here's a little brief story about his grandfather. His grandfather immigrated from Mexico, and he actually served in the U.S. Army in Belgium and the World War II. After the war, he worked for an ad agency for the subsidiary of the Hershey's Company, and that was just a kind of a testimony to his charm and his very warm personality. He would really know how to talk to people. In the early 90s, Grandpa was diagnosed with Alzheimer's, and in 1994, the disease began to progress rapidly. He was still able to spend much of his time at home, and Carlos's grandmother spent all of her time with him. He participated in some studies at the Rush Alzheimer's Disease Center in Chicago, and he received care there as well. The last year of his life he spent in the hospital battling infections and struggling to keep physical strength. He reached the inevitable conclusion of Alzheimer's disease and passed away on Carlos' sister's birthday. The cause of death was sepsis from infection due to a weakened immune system. And stories like these, I mean, without these stories, you know, it's tough for us to find inspiration for the ride. And so we just really appreciate everyone who sent us dedications over the entire ride. And, you know, like I said, this may be the end of Bike4Alz, but it's not the end of the fight to end Alzheimer's.